religion. Fixing my mind. I am a victim. This is crime. I love that song. And it's,
me as well,
it's our
man.
song,
Me as
but
well.
I can still love it.
Absolutely. We're fans as well as we are songwriters, right? I'm a fan first.
We are. Yeah, absolutely. If we can't rock to it, then why are we here, boys and girls?
Well, it's funny because
Why
somebody
are we
just
here?
asked me that question, I don't know, within the last week. Do you consider yourself a musician or a fan of music first? And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, I'm 100% more a fan of music than I am a musician. And that's not to take anything away from myself as a musician. I'm not denigrating myself. I love music. And when we write something that I like, just like you said, I enjoy that as a fan just as much as I am the guy that wrote the riff, you know?
Amen. Preacher Mike, amen.
Well, it would have been funny if we were writing music that we didn't like, right? That would be weird.
That would be weird. That would be really
I hate
weird.
that song. Always hated that song.
I don't know.
Why'd you write it?
All right. So, I took notes today
All right.
as I was doing my thing. Yeah. So these are just random things that we can expound on this. So,
Sure.
you used to be a smoker. You used to smoke the Marlboros, right?
I still smoke the vape.
So-
That's what you guys see me smoking. This is nicotine, unfortunately. But, yeah, I don't smoke
Correct.
cigarettes
But
anymore.
Yeah, but right. You used to smoke the cigarettes.
Absolutely.
And, so I'm driving. I had two appointments today. One was with my therapist. One was with my urologist. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, shocking. I go to therapy. So I'm leaving therapy to go to the urologist, which that's a whole nother story. Remember the scene in Fletch?
One of my
You remember
favorite
the movie
movies.
Fletch, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Love it.
When he's in the doctor's office, moon river.
River. Yep.
That scene? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently you're supposed to do that You're supposed to do that every year once you turn 50. So I think that he was exploring a little bit longer because I have not done that, and I'm 54. Anyway,
nor
so
have I.
driving from therapist, So driving from therapist to urologist, I was following this car, and it's 106 degrees outside in Arizona, 37% humidity because I checked. For those you can't see, I'm pretending I'm driving a steering wheel, and I have my left hand out the window because I'm in the driver's seat. My left hand is positioned to the peace sign to emulate that I have a cigarette in it. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm sitting at a stoplight, cigarettes out the window, and I keep flicking the ashes like people do. They flick the back of the butt, and it kicks the ashes to the curb, right?
Yep.
Don't have a problem with that at all. As soon as the light changes, dude brings a cigarette inside the vehicle, takes a big old drag. Cigarette goes out the window again, and thus comes all the cigarette exhaling smoke. Guess where the exhaled smoke goes?
Right
To the
into
vehicle
your
directly
vehicle.
behind him, which happened to be me, which then goes to my vents, and guess what I smell? Smoker.
Cigarette smoke.
I don't give a fuck if you smoke. Don't care. Don't care if you smoke. Now, normal street, I would just pass motherfucker, but I couldn't because it was a one-laner. So I had to sit behind him while he smoked for about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles.
And let me tell you,
So
hold
just
on
be
one
mindful,
second.
boy. Yes, go ahead.
I will reinforce what you're
I'm
saying
holding on.
because when you're a smoker, as Chris just said I was, people tell you all the time that it stinks. But you can't smell it because I just recently learned this. Your nose doesn't smell anything. It detects changes in smell. That's why people can live next to a manure factory or a trash dump. You literally do become immune to it because it no longer changes, right? I noticed it just like you did with
I'm going to
people
agree
in
with that
front of me.
100%.
You can totally smell it from that far away. So the people that are like, oh, you can't smell it, man. Yeah, you can. 100%. I stand corrected.
And now that you say that, because I understand that's nose thing, because Doja the dog has been hit by a skunk 4 times. Okay. And two of those times happened this within the last 2 months. And legit, I don't smell it. Because he comes in the house before he realizes he's been hit, and so then holy shit moment, Nikki's got the stuff she does to clean him and make his smell go away. But you can still smell it lingering in the house because your eyes water, and you think the fuck would learn. We were on our morning walk. We get up at 4:15, go for a 45-minute walk. I had the flashlight. I aimed the flashlight over because I saw something moving on the street, and shit you not, it was a skunk, fucking tail straight up. And what's Doja want to do? Fucking attack the skunk. Nikki gives him the command, and he stays away. But it's like, dude, have you not learned? So, yeah. So just be mindful if you're smoking. I don't care if you smoke. Just roll your window up and blow that smoke in your own car. You're the one that's gets ingesting it. So it's like a double drag, right? You roll the windows up, you smoke it, you exhale. It's still lingering. I.e. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where they're smoking in the van, even though that's pot, but smoke is smoke. So.
He's saving you money, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to get twice the smoke for half the cigarette.
I'm saving you money. You're welcome. I'm here all day.
Did you see how I figured that math out?
So,
I smoke.
Did what?
I exhale.
That's good math, man. That's good math.
I inhale. I exhale again.
Right.
Yeah.
And inhale, exhale. That's what I'm saying. You get double smoke.
Yeah.
Double smoke, man. Double smoke for one drag. It's like
we're saving money. Cigarettes are expensive.
You get twice the amount of. I don't know, but you're getting twice the nicotine for one drag. So you're getting twice the nicotine of an entire cigarette by smoking in an enclosed environment. And I don't care if you stink, because I'm not going where you're going. So
I bet cigarettes in Phoenix are north of $11 a pack.
Wow. Really?
Because they were approaching 6 or 7 when I left, and that was in 2009.
How much are cigarettes in Arizona? Wisconsin, you can pay $8.85, of which $2.52 is taxed. Maine, $8.58 a pack, and that's $2 in tax. Arizona, $8.55 with $2 in tax.
Wow, they haven't gone up that much at all.
So yeah, they haven't gone up that much at all.
How much are they in Illinois?
Hold on, I'm going to California. California's $12.
California.
It's not surprising because it's California. California's going bankrupt, and California can't afford it. Whoa. Fuck no. Really?
What?
Wow. Is this $16?
Chicago?
Marlboro cigarettes in Illinois are $16. It just says Illinois. It's
that's
just cigarette
Cook County.
Prices.
So that's Chicago. Man. Yeah, that's a true story.
Wow, you got to be dedicated to smoke, man. If you're going to spend $16 on a pack of cigarettes, usually straight up, you have to be 100% dedicated to the craft.
I agree with you, but that goes back to last week's episode where people in Chicago make probably close to twice to 2.5 times what I make downstate, right? So while it sounds outrageous, you got to put it into perspective where the average person up there, if they can afford to buy a house and live there, they're making damn good money.
Yeah. Yep.
Perspective. We got to put everything in perspective for people, because then they start going crazy. Cigarettes used to be $1.50. Well, a guy used to make fucking 65 cents an hour too. So,
right, exactly. And it's still insane though that it's more expensive in Chicago than it is in Illinois.
$16. Well, I told you at the Cubs game I was paying $10 for a bottle of water.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was at the
most
ballpark.
Expensive, state for a pack of cigarettes.
I'm going New York.
Yeah, New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank
It
you.
says the
Thank you.
average cost of cigarettes is $10.53 per pack, even though Chicago had $16, but on average, right? That's crazy. Maybe that thing for 16. Maybe that was a carton. I wouldn't be right though, right? Cartons are like,
Hell no.
Like if you're $8 for a pack, then you're paying $60. What
It'd
is
be
it?
well
How
over
many packs
$100 a carton. There's 20.
Fuck.
What is there? Is there 10 packs? Yeah, there's 10
I don't
packs
know.
in each carton. Excuse me. It's been a long time since I bought a carton of cigarettes. Yeah, there's 10 packs in there.
That,
200
that's crazy.
cigarettes.
That's crazy, man. Fuck. I know. And Jake spent $40 on a cigar. I wonder what the average cost of a cigar is.
Oh,
I guess
those
that's a loaded question, though, right?
Those can go way up there, just like wine or anything else. You know, people are connoisseurs of cigars. They got humidors in their house.
Yeah, Jake was supposed to take my humidor with him. I had one for years ago, and he forgot it. Budget cigars typically cost between $5 and $10, offering good quality and an accessible price. Premium cigars, which can cost anywhere from $10 to $50 or more, often feature rare or aged tobaccos, complex blends, and meticulous craftsmanship. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Tobaccoist of Greenwich. When you're ready to smoke, come to Tobaccoist of Greenwich.
When you're rid of the
I
smoke,
just made that shit up. But
head to the Coke. No, don't do that.
exactly. No. So here's another little topic.
That's bad advice.
You know, we're being squirrels today. So I had to go to the urologist. We're not going to talk about therapy because that would just be wrong. She just helped me with little tips because I still have a short fuse with shit. Like it's like if I make an appointment at 2:00 and I'm still sitting at 2:30, that irritates me.
I
Like
agree.
when I went to my urologist, I straight up, I shouldn't say my urologist because I've never been to one before. So I walked in and I'm like, you know, gave him my stuff, like, how you doing? Good, you know. And I was like, hey, got a question? He's like, okay. I was like, you know, is the doctor on time today? He's like, well, relatively speaking. I said, no. I was like, I'm fine if he's going to be late. Just let me know he's late. But I don't want to sit down and be wondering what's going on for 20 minutes if he's running behind. So just, I'm being proactive. Let me know if he's running late. He's like, well, and he looked at my name. He's like, honestly, Mr. Dunham, you're 5 minutes late. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, your appointment was at 1. I was like, all right, 12:50. And I was like, really? I said, I had it on my phone as 1. And so, but straight up, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I apologize for being late. I hope I didn't throw anything off. And he kind of looked at me funny because I'm sure nobody ever apologizes for being late to him.
And he knew he was late
But
anyway.
understand, I just came out of therapy, so I'm, you know, right. And you know, so when I come out of therapy, I'm on a high for a few days anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I apologize. And he was cool with it. And then, you know, literally I sit down, 2 minutes later, get called back, you know, nurse comes in, does all their stuff. The whole reason going to urologist, 54 years old. So, you know, the pee thing, right? Like there's days where, and you maybe can relate, maybe you can't.
I'm getting there.
And this may be too much information. You may be bored the fuck out of this conversation. So I can pee like a fucking racehorse, and I can stand there like, why aren't you peeing, man? Like
Yep.
I feel you inside me.
Yep.
Like let it go.
Yep.
Let the juices flow. Okay.
I'm at the infancy of
then
that,
I'm
my
that guy
friend.
that gets up 4 or 5 times at night. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm that guy that gets up 4 or 5 times a night and pees. Now, granted, I drink a ton of water, but I still
I
get
do
up.
too.
Part of the reason I get up is because my second bout of COVID, I started snoring. So there's that. So there's a little bit of sleep apnea there, but it's not enough to be a concern, which is, you know, so whatever. So I go to the urologist. I'm late, you know. Didn't mean to be late, but everything's fine. Get in there. And so he comes in. We're talking, going over this stuff, and I did all the stuff leading up to it. So I had last month. I had the full blown physical, all the blood work. Like I'm just, you know, aside from an iron deficiency, like everything's like dialed in. So I've been taking iron supplements to help offset that. Right, dialed in. Nikki did physical shit too. I'm like both of us just like gonna live to 150 years old, right? It's just the epitome of health, you know, unless we get hit by a bus or an asteroid falls from the sky. It's no problems. Got the little tinkle problem, right?
Right.
So he's explaining to me. Now this is a trip. I don't know if you know this or not. So I'm gonna get into what's that class? What's that class in school? Anatomy? Is that where you talk about the body and shit and
Yes.
the changes? You know.
Anatomy.
Okay, so anatomy. Oh, Jake just texted me. That's badass. That is badass. Sorry, folks.
No, tell Jake I
And
said,
by
what's
the
up?
way, And Michaels says, "What up?" He sent me a picture of a van, like a VW van. It's gnarly.
Oh, cool.
Shit is gnarly, he says.
We had a bus,
So-
ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm
We'll
going
get to
over.
that later.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
get
what
to
it
that
was.
later.
VW bus.
Okay.
So he's going over the stuff. Like we're talking about the flow and the urine and that kind of stuff. He's got a graph on the wall. This is a healthy prostrate. This is a bad one. You know, you want this one. So he starts talking about how you explain. Now I'm thinking just the Fletch. If you've seen the movie Fletch, and if you haven't, then I just did it myself. But Mike has.
Oh yeah, I love that.
So there's
movie.
a scene in Fletch where Chevy Chase's character Fletch goes into the proctologist for something. He's doing an investigation, private eye, and he has to bend over and get the prostrate exam. So I'm thinking that is the extent of checking your prostrate, because why wouldn't I? Because number one, I've done a colonoscopy years ago, and that's what I thought that was, but it wasn't. I was wrong. Prostrate is doctor, you get on the table. He's like, just bend over the table.
Using a whole fist, Doc?
Put your elbows, lean on your elbows, and right. It happened so quick. I felt cheap and used, I must say. But the first part of this,
You even get a thank you.
the first part of the exam is he's basically, I need you to stand up and drop your shorts. I'm like, okay. And I purposely wore some of my workout shorts that have basically it's underwear with attached to a short, so it's just one thing. So I'm like, okay, drop them. And he starts fiddling the boys, squeezing things. It's a certain, all right, no, it's all good. You ask about the, the ding-a-ling, and it's like, nope, it's all good, no pain, nothing, So he says, this, basically, you've done this before, right? I says, nope, I don't think I've ever done that. He's like, well, you just need to do this. You bend over, you put your elbows on the table, and you're going to feel my hands. I'm like, okay. So, right away you feel the butt cheek spread. I'm thinking I'm in prison. And then here comes a lube, puts
This
that
is
shit
the
on,
end.
and it's just woof, and it's there. And he's like, breathe. I'm like, I'm trying. So then he's done with that, and he's like, okay, you're fine. I don't feel any abnormalities. But just to be sure, Chris, we are going to have you come back, and
I'm good.
We're going to have you come back in 2 weeks, and we're going to have the scope through the urethra to make sure you're not over here on the right of the post. We want you on the left side.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, okay. So
I'll work that back over by myself, Doc.
Apparently that shit lasts 60 seconds. Yeah. That's going to last 60 seconds. The nurse that came in afterwards to give me the stuff, she's like, so you understand? She's like, so you're gonna have the scope done, huh? I'm like, I'm not looking forward to it, And she's like, you'll be fine. I was like, says the woman without a penis.
Correct.
And she laughs, But understanding what women go through, because I've been married
has
for
to get her
almost 30
boobs
years,
smashed.
so knowing what
Yeah.
Nikki has, women get ultrasounds up there, Wahoo,
True.
and sometimes that's not comfortable.
No, hell no.
So, so I'm just, but they both said it lasts 60 seconds or less, and I'm like, okay. But it's necessary because I want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with that area, because that's a big area to have something wrong with.
So
that's
his explanation as to why you have and I have slightly intermittent problems.
Well, we don't have the full answer yet because he's got to do the scope. The scope tells you, it can visually tell you, like an unhealthy prostrate looks like that, and a healthy prostrate looks like that. If I don't have the picture with me, but boys and girls, I'm basically you put your fist together, and the butt of your fist, that's an unhealthy prostrate.
So you're only peeing through that little tiny hole.
You're trying to right.
Okay.
So this is what I learned. This is a trip, dude. I had no idea. You got the penis, okay? And this is how he did it.
I got
those
one of those.
You aren't watching, you're not going to miss this. So you place two fingers together, and you put a finger underneath it. So you have triple fingers, right? See that?
Yep.
See that? Like a pyramid, right? Upside
I
down
got you.
pyramid. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the bottom one, that's the urethra. That's where the pee goes. Okay, that's the pee going.
All right.
The top two are blood vessels that run on the top of your penis.
Okay.
Those are the ones that keep you aroused through the duration of your sexual activities.
Okay.
Now, when you lose, we don't have this issue, but when you lose blood flow for some reason, that'll make one of the sides go down a little bit, which then makes you not be fully engaged in the activities that you're a part of.
That
We don't
fucker's
want to
not
get there, which is
participating.
why you have to do the scope.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, which is why you have to do the scope to
He's
make
back
sure
to the scope,
to make sure
ladies and
nothing's
gentlemen.
blocking that. Because if they find blockage, like in an artery of your heart, you can die. So basically, you want your penis to die? Or
No.
you want your heart to die? Well, you want your heart to stay healthy, but in order for, you're right. So
Yeah.
it's a penis healthy thing, man. Not looking forward to it, but if it's only 60 seconds and knowing some of the shit Nikki's had to go through in her lifetime of OBGYN stuff, it's like, yeah, okay. What's the worst thing's going to happen? They're going to stick this thing in my ding-a-ling and it's going to hurt for a day. So, I mean, as a benefit, I'll come home and she'll have to soothe me. Like, honey, I'm in pain. You're going to have to, make me feel better. So it's good. It's good thing she doesn't watch this show.
My wiener hurts.
But yeah. honey, come here. It'd be funny if she just walked in the door right now. What do you need? Oh, sorry. I'll tell you later after the show.
It'll be a different kind of show if we demonstrate that.
We're not demonstrating that. Oh, that would probably get if we did that live on Facebook, holy shit, we would get just to the moon in reviews. And
I think our ratings would go up.
It would be crazy.
Remind me to
by
tell.
the way, speaking of ratings, go ahead. I'm
Remind me to
I'm
tell
reminding
you
right now.
A story about Facebook that I cannot tell on this podcast, but you need to hear it. So, speaking of how you get ratings very quickly, I witnessed it with my own eyes. So, it's an interesting story. I just can't tell it here. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but Chris is privy to some things that you are not because, just because.
There's a lot of swear words in it. We try not to fucking swear on this fucking show because we don't think it's very fucking classy.
No, somebody could figure out who I'm
don't
talking
give a
about.
shit if we don't swear. Okay.
And I got to leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay, leave it at that. So a fun topic is peanut butter and jelly. Okay. Have you noticed I had a couple things on my page? One was, do you prefer crunchy peanut butter?
I would have liked to have participated, but fucking AT&T has been down for 2 days, so I apologize. I did not see it. I don't think. Lay it on me.
So I had that discussion. I had the discussion of what's the favorite, peanut butter that's creamy,
Okay.
or peanut butter that's crunchy. Let's go to Facebook and take a look.
I like my peanut butter creamy if I have my choice, but I love them both, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be offended either way, but if I'm choosing creamy.
See, and the reason why this came about is Nikki makes me protein balls for post-workout.
Okay.
So we were at the grocery store getting some supplies, and I was like, oh, let's try crunchy peanut butter because crunchy peanut butter has crunch to it.
I like crunchy peanut
So we got Skippy's Super Crunch with the extra crunchy, which is 7 grams of protein per tablespoon. That's fantastic. And then you have
Absolutely.
Skippy Creamy, which fuels the fun. Okay. So let's see. That's crunchy. Somebody said Jif. I'm like, we're not talking about Jif, man. We're talking about. I guess it didn't matter. So I should have did this before. I apologize. 1, 2,
It's all good.
3, 4, 5.
It's what we do here.
6.
We look shit up. We learn together.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So of this poll of 72 people saw it, 15 people engaged in it, and the overwhelming winner is creamy peanut butter.
Okay.
So crunchy got some votes, but creamy is the best.
I don't know. That's just my choice too. But like I said, I've been in situations where people like yourself either liked it or wanted to try something different, and I found I liked them both. So it doesn't really matter to me. If I'm buying it myself with my own money, I tend to choose creamy about 90% of the time.
Right. Yeah. So there's that answer. So then I followed it up with jelly or jam. Nikki's always liked jam.
Me too.
Like, I've always liked jelly. I say
I
grape
grew up with jelly.
Nikki says grape jam.
But I like jam, strawberry.
Yeah, I'll see. I'm just doing the grape thing. My grandmother, fuck, dude, she made the greatest strawberry jam in the world. Like, I had the recipe, and oh, fuck, dude, it was so good.
I would love it.
So much sugar in that shit, though, dude.
I know.
So much sugar in that shit.
It's a guilty pleasure. I don't eat it all the time.
It's insane.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm talking like
So
peanut
there's
butter
a lot
and
of
jelly
pizza.
for
Like,
me
one guy said pizza.
is like 4
Yeah.
or 5 times
Yeah.
a year. It's not. I mean, it literally is a guilty pleasure. I don't eat it a lot
Gotcha. Okay.
because I try and stay away from as much
Yeah.
sugar as I can. And if I do, like I drink Body Armor because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pure cane sugar. It's not high fructose corn syrup.
Gotcha. Well, and I didn't know like jam has chunks of fruit in it and jelly is just juice. Like, I didn't know that. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
that's why jam's delicious.
it's like jam is a thick mixture. Right. So jam is a thick mixture of fruit, pectin, and sugar that is boiled gently but quickly until the fruit is soft and has an organic shape.
Fucking
Yet it's
delicious.
still thick enough that it spreads easily and can form a blob.
Absolutely.
In addition to being a spread, jams are also good for fillings. Right.
I want peanut
Jelly
butter and
is
jam.
made from sugar, pectin, acid, and fruit juice. Right. Jelly is a clear spread that is firm enough to hold its shape. Jellies can also be made from ingredients other than fruit, such as herbs, teas, wine, liquors, flowers, and vegetables, which I didn't know. So that's pretty, like, wow.
So have we crossed you over to the jam
It's
side?
pretty neat, man. I think it's, I don't know. I just think.
Come on,
that
all the
it's
cool kids are doing
texture
it.
that you like.
All the cool kids are doing it.
I like them. I like them both. It just matters of what she buys because we buy the squeezable tube and then just squeeze out anyway, and then I put them between 2 pieces of bread and peanut butter, and it's smashed together regardless. Now some
Right.
people like strawberry versus this that. I don't. The only strawberry ones I like would be the one my grandmother made because she just made them so good. And then
Homemade, yeah.
I've always had grape. I don't know why. I've always had grape.
Okay.
I've always had grape.
You're a grape guy. I like
Yeah.
grape, but I prefer strawberry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
how you could
which is
dislike
cool.
any of those.
Which is cool. I don't either. But
Raspberry's
some
good.
people do.
Peach is good.
I like raspberry. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like raspberry, but I don't like real raspberries because of the little seeds or whatever they are. They get stuck in my teeth.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
You know
enough.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but I love the flavor of raspberry. Like,
Sure.
Like all day long, I love the flavor of raspberry.
Me too. That's my favorite Body Armor.
Really? Raspberry?
Yep. That and tropical fruit.
Right on. I don't know. I
And
had a
for the
body
people
armor.
at home,
I just
those
had
are
a body
full
armor.
of B vitamins and A
Yeah.
vitamins, and so if you're looking for something for your kids to drink that is not going to be harmful
Mm-hmm.
to them, it's real sugar and it's full of vitamins. So it's a little pricey, but it's worth it.
And riboflavin.
Okay. I like some riboflavin.
So here I have my afternoon snack of nuts.
I love nuts.
I also have pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin
That
seeds are very
sounded
good for
really
you.
fucking bad.
Pumpkin seeds are really good for you. Oh, you like nuts? Oh, that's funny. Mike made it
on,
funny.
Oh, and I couldn't take
Mike
it
made
back.
it funny. Like on the, that would have been funnier during the urology story. You know, 'cause
If I would have
really,
just
you know,
randomly
and-
said
and
I
Jake
like
says-
nuts.
Right. That would have been funny. Jake says, "What's up?"
Oh,
you know,
I love that dude.
Yeah, he drove back. He drove back yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was Monday. Yeah.
And I saw his post.
We shaved his head. There's a video.
That was a great video.
There's a
Thanks for
A
sharing.
video of shaving his head, which is, yeah. It's quick too. I used iMovie and edited that shit down.
The song was
It was originally
perfection.
like 13 minutes, and I just right. And the cool thing about it is Jake knows that song because I introduced it to him a couple years ago.
Awesome.
So when I sent him the video, he just chimes back with, "Get a haircut, get a real job, Dad." And then YouTube, I was thinking, oh fuck, YouTube's going to shut it down, and they just put a copyright on it, but they still let it exist, which is cool.
Nice.
So YouTube used to shut shit down if you didn't give credit for things.
Tony must be either busy in the fields or out on tour, but we'll ask him. I've kind of read an article that led me to believe that they've kind of figured out how to figure out where to send the payment. So if you're using Thorogood song like you just did, YouTube must know how to pay him properly and exclude those hits from your page. You know what I'm saying? So they pick those hits up and they put them, somehow they have an algorithm AI kind of program that runs in the background that picks all that stuff up and takes it to a central location and says, this was 150 hits for George Thorogood through Chris Dunham's page.
See, so they should stop fucking with my birthday posts, because they're still shutting them all down.
I might have just made all that up, dude.
Regardless. But it sounds brilliant.
Thank you.
But my Paul McCartney birthday posts that go to Paul McCartney's YouTube page, that actually go to his page, it drives hits to his page. It drives hits to his song. Hits meaning the counts, right?
Sure.
It drives, because I do nothing but have I promoted Paul McCartney since 2008 when I started doing that shit on Facebook.
Right.
Nothing but promoting him. And then all of a sudden, 6 months ago, it's like, fuck you, Meta Security's going to shut these down. So I did my birthday post this morning, and in between one post, I got shut down.
When I talked to Tony originally about the copyright, what we can and can't get away with, he basically said,
right,
you can do whatever you want unless it's the Beatles or I can't remember the second one. It might have been Springsteen. And then I mentioned Bryan Adams because I've heard that too, right? Bryan Adams is big on shutting shit down, and he agreed with that. He's heard that too. I think the other one he said was Springsteen. Unless it's the Beatles or another band, and we'll have him tell us who it was, but I know it was the Beatles. Yeah. They're super hypersensitive about protecting that catalog, whoever owns it now. I think it's a corporation that owns it now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Michael Jackson owned it. I think Michael Jackson's kids still own the Beatles catalog.
Look that up. Who owns the Beatles catalog? I want to know. Can you Google that?
Okay, because I know Michael Jackson bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he bought it in like the 90s when we were a band. But I think it was sold before he died even. I want to say Paul McCartney bought it back
Sony
at
Music
one time.
Publishing control. Sony.
Yeah.
Sony Music Publishing controls the rights to the vast majority. Beatles catalog was bought by Michael Jackson in 85.
85. Okay.
In 95, Sony and Michael joined forces. Oh, okay. So in 95, Sony and Michael joined forces to create Sony ATV Music Publishing, which now manages the Beatles catalog. So guess what, kids? Michael Jackson still owns it.
Okay.
Because he merged with Sony, which means his kids now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The most of the Beatles' original songs are royalties are still Lennon and McCartney, but as the thing took over, then Jackson's heirs get their fair share.
Here's an interesting question. While you're at the Google machine,
okay,
look up what Michael Jackson.
Put it back up.
How do I want to word this? How much did Michael Jackson's music make in 2023? People will be astounded.
Well, that wasn't okay. How much money did Michael earn in 2023? Because the first thing says Michael Jackson sells music rights. Oh, he sold the music rights to Sony for $1.47 billion in 2023.
So he longer
sold that. So he must have given that money to his kids. No, well, he was dead before that.
Dead.
So that must have been his estate.
Yes.
Yeah, his estate did that. So his kids did that.
$1.3 billion.
I want money now. 1.47.
1.47. Holy shit.
1.47 million. Yeah, 1.47 million.
So I didn't know that. The reason I
so
asked you that question real quick is I just heard on a podcast I was listening to, which is from quite a few years ago, that he had made like 700 million one year and 800 million the next year, respectively.
I haven't talked to. No, I haven't hit Michael Jackson's earnings. I was just talking about what he sold, what his kids sold Sony. The Sony, they sold it to Sony. I haven't talked about what he made yet. You ready for that?
I didn't know they broke that down. Okay, yeah.
The one point. No, the one that was the first thing that popped up. Michael Jackson's estate sells music rights to Sony for 1.4. Wait, what is it? 1.2. What is it?
1.47.
Yeah, 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion. It went up. It was originally 1.47 million, and it went up to 1.2 billion. Is what they sold.
Okay.
In 23.
Okay.
So, what did Michael Jackson's music make in 2023? What did you say? What was your guess?
I was going to guess like 800 million.
$115 million in 2023.
Okay, so he wasn't earning quite as much as he was. This podcast was from 10 years ago. So in 2014,
okay,
like 12, 13, 14, he must have been. That was newly after his death, though, right? When did he die?
I don't know. Let's see. When did Michael? 2009, June 25th, 2009.
Okay. So, yeah, this would have been not that long after his death. We're talking like 11, 12, 13. He was earning somewhere between 700 and 800 million right after he died. That was the irony. The reason they brought it up is a lot of people don't know Michael Jackson was almost flat broke. That's why he was planning that big comeback tour where, he was rehearsing. Yeah. He was nearing the end. He had no money. Yeah. The lawyers had sucked him dry, and that's why all that was going on. So the irony was, right after he died, he was almost earning $1 billion a year.
Right? Which is insane.
It is. Makes you wonder about certain things. We'll just leave it at that, because I don't know. I wasn't there,
I don't know how much, kind of like what's his face, Kevin Spacey, right? The golden, the dude has a massive legacy, right? In Hollywood, you know what I'm talking about, right? Kevin Spacey,
absolutely. House of Cards, American Beauty, fucking excellent actor.
Yeah, American Beauty. Yeah. So and he got nailed with the Me Too scandal. Because he's a gay man.
Yes.
Which is nothing wrong with that. But he got nailed with the YouTube scandal. Or Me Too scandal, not YouTube. Me Too scandal.
I remember.
Because of the accusations that he was inappropriate with male co-stars.
Yep.
Older, younger, in between, whatever. So he was recently on something, and he talked about how he's broke. He has no money and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, that's the bullshit. Like Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar will never want for money again because he has Van Halen money, right?
Absolutely.
The members of Alter Bridge, aside from Miles Kennedy, will never want for money because they have Creed money.
Yep.
Right?
Just
Michael
keeps
Scott,
coming.
Steve Carell, the cast of The Office on a whole never has to worry about shit because he's got office money.
Every month
right?
that check comes. Yep.
There's everything that gets syndicated. Right. Exactly. Everything that gets syndicated, that gets like Neanderthal in California, right? He moved from Arizona to California. He's on a rock show in California, rock station, California. Now he's syndicated. He's going like 4 or 5 different states. So when you syndicate, that's like Alan Alda, the cast of MASH.
Listen,
never had to do a fucking thing after the 11 years. That was it.
Here's a real life story.
Yeah.
I heard on the Rogan podcast where he was talking. He hadn't quite gotten to the point where he likes to call it "fuck you money." I got fuck you money. If I don't want to do something, fuck
news
you.
Radio?
I ain't gonna do it. Yeah.
Right.
So, even in the news radio days, he's like, I was balling on a small level, but he said I knew that.
Yeah.
I was in the presence of somebody who had a lot of money when I was gambling with him one night. Like when he was in his 20s, and he said this guy lost like 100. He didn't say who it was. He, to respect the privacy of the person, but. He said the guy lost let's say somewhere between 300 and 600 grand in that one night. And, you know, he's
Fuck.
like, my eyes are just boo,
That's
big
crazy.
around as saucers, you know. And he said he calmly looked at me and said, I just got to sweat 2 days and I'll get twice that in the mail, you know. That's when you know you
That's
got
insane.
fuck you money. You know, every 30 days somebody's sending you $1.2 million. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's people don't realize that, and everything just lives on. And I think that's interesting transition here. I think that's the problem that we have with music, because not everyone goes to Apple and buys the music, right? They don't get the residual income from the records anymore and the sales anymore, because how it's all set up.
no, the
It's
music
all fucked
business
up
is
like
broke.
that. So they don't make right. Yeah, it's totally broke. So they need
There
to
is
fix it
no
like they did
music
TVs
business.
and movies and shit. Right, there's not, because you can just self-produce everything, which is what everybody pretty much does now anyway. But, you know.
We're doing it right
And
now.
Snoop Dogg's not hurting. Let's just say this. Yeah, but we talked about Snoop Dogg, how he did, what, 1 billion downloads and it made him 40 grand, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes. That's just from
And
his
Snoop
streaming.
Dogg's not
though.
hurting. You know what?
He's still selling
Right,
records.
but you know what Snoop Dogg made per day at the Olympics? Right, but you know what he made per day at the Olympics?
I didn't know. Lay it on me.
$500 million per day while at the Olympics.
No. That's a true story?
$500 million. $500 million. Nikki heard it when she was listening to her talk radio.
Oh, my.
They were talking about like just insane shit. $500 million per day.
And he was on there every day? I did not watch the Olympics. I'm one of
Yep.
those weird people.
I don't know if he was on there.
Give a fuck.
We don't watch every day either. We just watched the highlights of it. But everything you see post Olympics, like when he's dressed up in the garb, like the equestrian shit, that was one of the
Right.
days that he was being paid. And when he's running and shit, just $500 million a day.
Dude, that's crazy.
I'll Google it just to be safe, but that's what Nikki said she heard.
Well, I believe her. I mean,
Income from Olympics. Well, we're fact checking. This is fact checking live, boys and girls.
fact checking
We share
right
the
here
news
on the
that we fact
podcast.
check. Yes. Holy fucking shit! Sitting next to an NBC
True story.
executive at dinner, he said that Snoop Dogg is paid 500,000. I said million. 500,000 a day.
Oh, okay.
Plus expenses to be promoting the Olympics.
Okay.
500. So I said 500 million. It's 500,000.
I was like,
500,000.
holy
Slip of the lip.
fuck.
Slip of the lip. Yeah, that would be
Snoop's
insane.
ballin'.
That's why you were holy fucked. But still, $500,000 a day.
Yeah, well.
$500,000 a day for
How
just
many-
fucking hanging out in Paris to a whopping pay of $9 million. He was there long enough that his entire payday for the Olympics for 18 days,
But-
$9 million. So he
But-
could give a fuck about his streaming.
Who
Yes, but-
agreed, but how many people tuned in just because Snoop Dogg was part of that ceremony that wouldn't have
That's
right?
That's what they're saying.
absolutely.
That's what they're saying. They're sort of saying that the aside from the opening ceremony of debauchery,
Yeah.
they're saying that was the ratings went through the roof. So let's see the ratings. Olympic ratings.
And the opening ceremonies was a bunch of morons who didn't know what was going on. So you guys need to educate yourselves if you're offended by that opening ceremony.
Yeah.
We don't have time right now.
Right. Olympic ratings. No.
But
Oh yeah, it's still per year.
you don't even know why you're offended if you're offended, just for the record.
So
Also a true
Why
story.
does it do that shit? I hate when they fucking open a window. Yeah, I hate when you go to a window and it fucking opens another window and then you can't figure out what the fuck window you want to fucking open to begin with, and you just want the original window you asked for.
I
Damn it.
agree. I agree.
So it's just
Somehow
it's
I followed that whole thing.
2004 there was 19.6 million. Right, 2004 there was 19.6 million viewers. 27.8 million. 2012 31 million. 2016 it dropped to 16.9 million. And so then there would be 20. In 2020 there was, where was it? 15.6 million viewers in 2020. And 32 million in 2024. On average. So that's, it's not bad. considering what we just went over. It was 19 million, 37, 27 million, 31 million, 16.9 million, and then the 34 million. So it went up. It was up. 30.6 million was the average draw for the entire Olympic Games. It was an 82% jump over the Tokyo Games, which were 4 years prior. So, I don't know how many of that was because of Snoop, Snoop-a-loop, but, you never know. So,
well, they wouldn't have paid him $500,000 a day if they didn't think that his value was going to be worth it, right?
True.
That's all I'm saying
this is true.
There's a lot of people that would hear that number and they would say, what makes a person worth $500,000? I mean, I can hear these people because I talk to them, right? I work with over 1,000 people every day. So you run into some characters,
right.
And there's people out there that just don't use their head. And, some of them happen to sit in the same area I do sometimes, and you'll hear that. What makes somebody worth $500,000 a day? Well, if 100,000 more people tune in every day that normally wouldn't have, they're watching all those commercials, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
And those commercials are far more valuable than that $500,000 to the people who are trying to hit their target audience. So that's what makes him worth it, because he commands an audience of not only rap people, but he crossed over into every other genre of human being you can imagine. I don't know too many people that don't like Snoop at this point, When you team up with Martha Stewart,
I'll tell you people that don't like Snoop. Yeah.
You gain a whole
Here's
audience
that don't like Snoop Dogg. The people that don't like him, that don't like Snoop Dogg, are the ones that took him to court for murder.
Yeah.
And he got away with it.
He did.
Him and Ray Lewis.
He did
So
too.
that's the people that don't like Snoop Dogg. But to his credit, he took full advantage of getting away with murder and turning his life around and becoming a well-respected human who has made a difference and an impact. So, kudos to him. Because other people that get, brought up on murder charges, they continue murdering people until they get caught. So, good job, Snoop, for you.
And while that's a horrible thing and you would never get over it, and I completely understand where you're coming from, those people, I hope, understand that forgiveness is for you. It's not for the person that did the crime, right? You have to get over it. And when people tell you that, they mean it, because I've seen people wreck their lives over deaths of loved ones, and that's a horrible thing, man. They just crawl into a shell and fucking die. And I'm very fortunate, and I don't even know if I've ever told my own mother this story, but I'm very fortunate that when my Grammy was dying, she was dying of emphysema, which is horrible. I should not smoke.
Okay. Bro, yeah.
I'm not stupid. I know what I'm doing is wrong. So, that's how addictive nicotine is. Anyway.
Yeah.
She was laying in intensive care because she couldn't breathe. And two things she told me that have always stuck in my mind, and I should have taken the first one to heart.
Okay.
The first one was, if I had known it was this easy to quit smoking 40 years ago, I surely would have, because I'm not a dummy. She prided herself on being an intelligent woman, and she was. Right. She was about 50 years ahead of her time, and that's no joke. Yeah. She saw things that nobody saw.
Right on.
Which is how I became semi-intelligent. I spent a lot of time picking her brain and learning about life. So
right.
The second thing she told me was, I felt horrible because I couldn't get a ticket to fly home to be here for her funeral and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get to come home because, we weren't making millions of dollars as a band, and I wasn't making millions of dollars in graphic arts, either one. So I just couldn't afford it then. And the lesson that I took away from that moment in time was, she said, I want you to remember me the way I was. I don't care that you're not going to be here. There's no reason for you to come walk through a line or stand there and see me laying in a box. She said, what I want you to remember is that I enjoyed every day of my life. And she did. And my mom will agree with this when she hears this story.
Right on.
And I expect you to do the same thing. You take your time to do whatever you need to get over me not being here, but that time is going to be short, right? It's not going to be the rest of your life that you're going to just crawl. To my point, you're not going to crawl in a hole and die. You're going to go enjoy your life just like I did. So
Correct.
That's how I've learned to deal with death.
And
is it's your life. And she said that. You only get one life and it's yours. Enjoy it. You're not living it for anybody else.
Yep. Exactly.
To your point last week,
Exactly.
I used to care about what other people think of me, and then I tried to pay my bills with their opinions.
Right.
And that's the end of that, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of her motto 60 years before we came along. You know?
And see, I've been conditioning my children is because you know me and going back to my song Vision, right? So Vision, for those of you who don't know,
I love
Vision
that song.
was about dreams I had, 4 separate dreams in which thank you. I liked it too, actually. And every verse was a story. There was 4 verses and choruses broken up with a bridge and whatnot, but
that's when I enjoyed listening to the
each
lyrics
verse,
every night. I did.
Yeah. Oh, right on.
I always paid attention to that song.
Because it was a story.
So much fun to listen
Right
to.
on. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right on. So basically I had these 4 recurring dreams, and every dream ended at the end of it was me dying. And so I wrote the song Vision. Mike and Scott had the music for it, so each verse, like I said, it was a different dream. I don't remember it now. I'd have to look up the song. But so I've never been afraid of death. I've never been afraid of dying. I grew up with really bad asthma, so when you're a kid,
me too.
And you're being rushed to the emergency room because you can't breathe. You don't realize you can't breathe.
No.
Like you have no idea that breathing as a child, if I stop breathing, I die. Like
I never thought of it that way,
right?
but you're totally right. And
So
you
I've
and I
never been-
live the same thing. You are totally right.
Right?
I never thought about it in those words.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's weird, huh? So I've never been afraid of dying. I don't welcome death. I don't want to die, but I've never been afraid of it. Like as soon as I turned 18, I had life insurance. Like Todd was my life insurance beneficiary until I met Nick and got married, right? So then he's no longer the beneficiary of that. But legit, I've had life insurance since I was 18 years old because I'm just that guy. And if you don't have life insurance, boys and girls, let me tell you, if you have a spouse and or kids, get life insurance. Even if it's only like $50,000, get life insurance to at least cover the cost of your burial, because don't put that burden on them. Okay?
Agreed.
Don't do it. This portion of the show is brought to you by TP Mortuary. You stab them, we slab them. Anyway, so where I'm going with this is I'll fuck around with Jake and Sky and Nikki. We'll be doing something, and I'll make a smart ass comment or something. We did when Jake was home, and I made some smart ass comment where Nikki gives me that look like you fucking being an asshole, lovingly, right?
Sure.
And I'll be like, you relish this moment, Nikki, because I could be gone tomorrow. Like, I have no control when I live and die. It's inevitable. I'm dying. It's at some point in time, I'm dead.
So none of us are getting out of here alive.
We in the fucking exactly. So even Jake, I might he'll reference something. I was like, dude, you're gonna be pissed when I'm gone and you forgot you didn't give me a hug before you left. But I plant that seed, and I told him the other day, I'm like,
that's awesome.
Like, you can be sad when I die, but I don't need you crying. Like, don't be crying and shit. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to miss me. I'm dead and shit. I said, but the first thing you say when you walk up at that pulpit is my dad was an asshole, because I have my moments, and I'm not going to sit there. I don't want to be that dead guy at a what do you call this thing? It's not a wake. Is it a wake? Where you go hang out?
That's a wake.
Stories, and then you
now they call it a celebration of life.
I don't.
Which is much better.
Life. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck all. Right, but fuck all that shit. They were perfect people. Fuck you. Nobody's perfect. Son, you go up there and say my dad was an asshole, but make sure you stop. My dad was an asshole, so the pen will drop, because people will be like, oh, and then you and then you tell a joke.
Yep.
Because then that's my personality. does little shit piss me off? Absolutely it does, you know, but that's just me working through that shit and learning how to deal. But don't go up there and say, oh, what a great man he was. Like, fuck that. Wasn't I a great man? I had my moments, but was I an asshole? I had my moments. Be real with it, man.
You know,
nobody, I don't care who you are, is perfect. No one.
It's okay. So I'm thinking, what would I say if I had to say something about you? This thing that I would say,
yeah,
is that you never took your bad days out on someone else, and I always appreciated that. You know, if you were in a bad mood or you were having a bad day, you would just say why you were in a bad mood or why you were having a bad day, and it was matter of fact. It wasn't anger towards anyone.
Yeah,
it was anger towards the right. You know, I always appreciated that about you because I could approach you with any subject, and I always knew you were going to be the same person. You know.
Oh, right on.
I could not say, I could not say that about Scott. I had to think about how I was talking to Scott.
No. Scott could be very intimidating, and sometimes when we were practicing and shit, and we were getting something right, I kind of look back, yeah, and look back at him behind that drum kit, and then just like I remember when we talked
burn
about
a fucking hole
weeks
through
ago
you.
about my lyric, yeah, just looking at you, yeah, yeah, because I'm
like, I'm on fire.
About that line where nothing man, but I remember something to where. The first time I sang that line in Nothing Man after the song was over and looking in his direction, and he had that look, and I didn't realize why that look was there until I knew we had talked about it before about the I don't believe in Jesus Christ lyric, and I knew that rubbed him the wrong way, but I didn't realize that you and him actually had a topic conversation about that lyric.
Well,
but I knew that
hours.
I knew that rubbed him because it also rubbed him. I had a song where I said "goddamn," which I don't walk around saying "goddamn" because I think that's blasphemy in my weird little world of Christian theology and whatnot. But it's relevant in certain songs. It was relevant for the song I wrote it in. I mentioned when it was, but it was relevant because it captured the emotion and the anger that the character in which I was writing about felt. Kind of like Creed has the song "What If," right? You know the song "What If"?
I love that song. Yeah, absolutely.
From the right,
yeah.
Well, the fuckers that they are, they did an edit to it. So when you buy it now, oh fuck, what is it now? Oh shit, now I can't think of it, but it's don't have to settle no goddamn score. Like he took all the goddams out. They edited it out.
Oh,
like
that's
when Stapp wrote that. Like
no, that's What's This Life.
Yes. What's This Life for? Yeah, What's This Life for?
That's
they
off
took
the first
the goddams out. Yeah, that's
I didn't
what I'm
know
saying.
that.
They took them out.
What If? The song "What If" is on the next album, Human Clay.
Okay, yeah,
you had me
What's
confused.
This Life for? Yeah, but the first album of Creed was from a writing standpoint, from a lyrical standpoint. Every first album is just if you fucking hit it big, your first album is basically the most pure material you've ever written because nobody's fucking with you. Nobody's got a chipping at your shoulder. Nobody's telling you to form it this way, that way. It's you working on those 18, 15 songs that eventually dropped to 12. Yes. So
we were hungry.
Raw, your emotion's real. It's not right. It's not plastic emotion. It's like legit. It's like I've struggled. I fucking live. I'm sleeping on Tremonti's floor. I'm writing songs, whatever the fuck it is. You can't go take that shit away. It takes the emotion from the song completely out of it. When I put it on because I downloaded their greatest hits because I didn't want to go buy the whole entire catalog because I don't like all his stuff. Some of his stuff to me is just fucking stupid, which I'm allowed to say that because I'm a fan.
Absolutely.
So I just downloaded their greatest hits, and like I do whenever I download an album. Next time I do yard work, man, I fucking put it on my AirPods, hit play, and I go. I was so pumped up when the first opening part of that song came on. And I'm listening. I'm like, fucking wait a minute. Where'd it go?
Oh, man.
Like, legit, they took it out. They radio edited that shit.
I hate that.
And it's because, and I guarantee you, it's because his family's evangelistic. Like, I'm sure you know that. His father's a whack-a-mole religion type guy. Like, it's Bible thumping, like, You know, you say you
Which
say
is why
ash,
he
you're
rebelled
getting-
into
you're
rock
getting
and roll.
beaten with you're getting right. Which is why that first album is and what it was. It's just fucking.
So
it's
now-
the epitome of all the angst and all the frustration of his life growing up in that environment. And
Yes.
now that he's come full circle, got fucking taking his medical meds to keep himself mentally sane because he went cuckoo bird for a while and went down the Cocoa Puffs land, right? When he was fucking, people were chasing me and shit.
Been there,
so he
done
had a
that.
psychological break.
Me too.
So right, so he circled back around, fucking
I
probably got
sympathize
back
with
into
him.
the faith, which which is cool. Get back in your faith, whatever you need to do to keep yourself upright and stand and walking. But don't go fucking alter your shit, man.
So he just
Like, don't take those lyrics away because now you don't believe in it. Fuck you, dude. It's part of who you were then. That's the thing. That album's historical. It's the history of Creed and Stapp and Tremonti and Marshall and Flip at the time that they put that together.
I
and
agree
said,
with you.
Here we are, world. Here's our vulnerable piece of us. Here's our
But
piece
here-
of pie. Let's throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
But here's the difference. The difference is
Okay.
what I got out of you and I telling our recovery stories is more than not, you and I healed ourselves because we knew we were broken, right? It sounds like he traded one addiction for another. He traded doing all the stupid shit and
Correct.
going crazy for falling right back into religion and listening to everything they're teaching, and now he has to follow that addiction, right? And that's fine. He's going to live because of that. It was a smart choice. But that's what I hear when you tell that story
Yeah.
is I hear a man who traded one addiction for another. No different than if you had to go to AA
Yeah.
every single time you thought you were going to drink.
Right.
You traded one addiction for another. You did not.
Yeah.
You go there because
absolutely.
it's something that you use as a tool for your recovery. It's a tool. It's not your only form of recovery. It's you run, you work
Right.
out, you
Exactly.
work, you do family, you have date nights, and you use that as a tool.
The Nikki,
There's people
I do
that-
Nikki.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like you guys go out on date nights and stuff. You have structured things that you do, and that's part of keeping you focused and in line. Just like I have to do this and play my guitar
Yeah.
and go to work, and
Right.
I like watching sports. I got to have things to keep my mind occupied too, or we all go crazy. The story about him that I just heard from you, not going too far off
Sure.
fucking rabbit hole, but that's what I heard is he just fell right back
Right.
in what his upbringing taught him, right? So there goes your lyrics.
Yeah, and
I agree.
And I don't know the entire right, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the entire story behind it. I don't know the dynamic of it. I just remember because it was well after Alter Bridge was formed, and when we did the meet and greet, 2000, whatever the fuck that was, I don't remember now. They specifically said, their manager said when before we got into Marquee Theater to meet with him when we were outside in line, he like adamantly said, we're not answering questions about Scott. We don't bring up Creed. This is Alter Bridge.
That's
Everybody
fair.
got it.
That's fair.
And he may right, and so, but I agree with that 100% because I'm on an Alter Bridge fan page and I'm on a Creed fan page.
Me too.
It irritates me when fucking people put Creed shit on Alter Bridge. Like,
Me
dude,
too.
this is an Alter Bridge page. It's different. It's a different band,
We agree.
right? It's just a different
Because
band.
we're musicians.
Yes, it's the same musicians, but it's a different band. It's a different band. It's just don't disrespect Miles by putting Creed shit on Alter Bridge, and don't
Right.
disrespect Scott by putting Alter Bridge stuff on Creed. Because let's face
It's
it,
two different bands.
Miles has 1,000% better, right? And Miles has 1,000% better voice than Stapp ever had or will have. Stapp is so throaty that it wears on him and tears him down and blah blah blah. And Miles knows how to sing. Nothing
Right.
against Stapp because again, love
It's
Creed,
just-
love what they did,
just
love
different.
love their first album. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I agree. Technically, he's a million%
So
better
that's-
singer, but
yeah.
whatever works.
Yeah. Right, and it's different. It's different. Bands, everything. Obviously. So Sorry, multitasking.
It's all good.
But yeah, so I just don't think, like, I wouldn't go back. We go record everything that we did in Nemesis. I'm not changing a lyric.
No.
I don't believe in Jesus Christ is still going to be there. The goddamn's still going to be there because that's how it was written, and that's how I can pick up and sing Nothing Man on our intro, because I automatically go to that because it's muscle memory. It's and the emotions there.
So
it's
what people
it was
need to
raw
realize.
when I wrote it, and it's still raw today.
Agreed, and I agree with everything you said, because I think I'm positive on one of these podcasts I chastised a few friends that I've had and just people in general that were rebels throughout our whole life, and I haven't seen them in 25 years, and you talk to them and then you're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
That
right.
that whole people change, and I get accused a lot of not conforming to the rules and whatever of society, and that's because every time somebody says you're supposed to do something a certain way, my first question is why?
Yeah.
Because you told
Why?
me to?
Exactly. Why?
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Literally,
Exactly.
And everybody should be asking that same question of everybody else. It's like, why are you in charge?
Mm-hmm.
So while I agree with your statement 1,000,000% that you should remain true to who you were at that moment in time, it seems that we're getting further and further away from that, and that is part of the problem. When people say, well, I had to become a conservative because I had a family, and you got to protect what you have, and it's like, no, when you conform just because of a certain thing, you've given up all your right to free will, right? Because people are thinking for you now. You just don't know it.
Yeah. Right. And that's the thing. You can Google that song you put it into Google, into YouTube, you're going to hear the original version live.
Right.
And you're going to hear the anger and the angst in which he spits out his lyrics. So don't fucking change the recorded version where it's crisp and clean and it's perfectly put together just to appease your own self-conscious. Oh, I said goddamn in that song. Dude, you've said goddamn probably 3-4 million times, because the amount of times you've played that song, especially at the height of Creed, that shit was played every night for years and years and years.
And if you're truly religious,
going back and changing the original recording.
I mean, if you believe in the way that those people believed like thousands of years ago, blasphemy was something that just wasn't done. So once is too many. So that's
exactly.
We're done on. As far as if somebody really I guess I don't know. Jesus, I guess you can ask for forgiveness or what. It just gets too complicated. That's why it's all fucking nonsense. But whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, if you're Catholic, you just do a Hail Mary and you're good. Go fucking.
I agree with you.
Go kill 16 people. Yeah.
That you should not.
I'm Catholic, I'm good. Oh.
You should not vary from that original thought. Just for the simple fact that that's why we got into it, is because we didn't agree with the establishment, right? All of us, every one of us. Scott, Creed,
There you go.
We all said we don't know better, but we know what you're doing is fucked, right? None of us said we had all the answers. All we knew is this old way of thinking is fucked. We can't continue doing this.
Yep. Agreed.
So why would you deviate from that?
That was a summary. That's what That's what I was trying to say. You just eloquently put that in like a 30-second thing as opposed to my 5-minute explanation. That was perfect.
I took that out of your 5-minute. Yeah,
Music is a time capsule.
Yeah.
Thank you. Music is a time capsule. It's time stamped for that time you wrote that song and recorded it. It's there forever. You know what I mean? I may not dig all the shit that's on the Hollow Council record, but it's pretty badass to be able to know that I'm fucking on iTunes and Spotify and all those other fucking things.
It's who you were at that moment in time.
It didn't, wasn't right. Exactly. And that's the cool thing about music and art in general. It's once you hit enter, whether it's a book, whether it's a poem, whether it's a video, whether it's a song, it doesn't matter. Once you hit the period, dot the I, whatever the fuck, you just sealed that in time.
That's
And
always
that's
my
what Stapp did. He sealed that
agreed.
time, man. You know,
That's always my shutdown argument to these fucking morons who are like, man, fucking Black Album, or anything after And Justice, man, fucking Metallica sucks, dude. Fuck that shit. I'm like,
right.
you know, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to play me your discography of all the albums that you've written when you went into the studio and you took a chance on music that you thought was the greatest thing that you could do at that moment in time. Or in their case, a couple times they just went in there and said, let's try this because we can, right? They weren't concerned with
right,
your
exactly.
opinion.
That's the thing. They had the no, not at all. And that's the band. There's certain bands that can do that. Metallica did it. U2 did it. I think Pearl Jam's stayed true to that. Unfortunately, Pearl Jam just stopped writing good music decades ago.
Yeah, I don't know
Metallica,
what happened
there's
there.
a couple of albums I don't like. He got fucking too political, man.
Agreed.
Eddie Vedder got into his own head. Instead of just doing what he did, he got bonified. He got bonified. He had to put his hand in everything and all the causes. Like Adam Duritz, all the causes shit, but Adam Duritz is still true to Counting Crows music. It's still they still record what they want to record, and they have the longevity in doing that. You know what I mean? So does Metallica. So does U2. Pearl Jam does that, even though they're not as popular. The bands that have stood the test of time have the ability to go in and record whatever the fuck they want, regardless of what the general public's going to say, because they have enough hits to go on tour. So it doesn't matter. If you think about it, you're not selling albums like you were. You're selling one song, maybe two. So why conform to society? Do whatever the fuck you want. And if it's a hit, great. If it's not, people are still going to fucking pay to see you live.
You just hit the nail on the head. That was going to be the other thing I said, because you and I have both been there. I've been there 11 times to see Metallica. I actually had somebody ask me, and I felt bad for him because I like this person a lot, and now I can't remember who it was, but
yeah,
they'll know because I work with them and they listen. It was one of 3 friends that I have at work that I talk to all the time, you know. I was like,
you're in trouble.
I went to see Metallica 11 times. No, they're in trouble, because their question was, oh, were they good? I'm like, no, they suck so bad I went back 10 more times.
Right.
But
Rush.
You know,
Rush is another one. Rush is Rush is another one. Rush fucked the system. Neil wrote what he wanted to write, and they put out what they wanted to put out.
Yeah.
And legit, I don't.
They said, we're going to write a song
Signals,
so long it's one
pictures,
half of one album.
Yeah. Right. Signals, moving pictures, exit stage left, and those I don't really. 2112 epic. I think everything after Signals sucked. Not sucked on a whole, but I just don't think there's any real song that I can pull out of my head after Signals album. Or was Moving Pictures before or after Signals? I think Signals was after Moving Pictures. I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
Signals was after Moving Pictures. And there's songs that I like post that, but not really. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3. But that's the thing. They could continue doing what they wanted to do because they had enough of a following. Fuck the record label. We're going to do what we want. And
they
you're going to put this out
stayed
regardless.
true to who they were, right? Too many people got to a certain point in their music career, and someone talked them into doing something that was a really bad idea.
Yep.
We didn't go up on stage in a fucking costume. You know, we went up and we let the music do the talking, as Aerosmith said. You know? We dressed like we dressed.
Yeah.
We looked like we looked.
Yes.
We got up there and we were really loud and had a good time, and we played good songs, and that's why people kept coming back. There was no real gimmick, you know?
Yep. No.
We're just going to kick your ass and leave.
You saw the Aerosmith news, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew that was coming privately, just so you know.
You heard the news about it. Well, here's the thing.
I had an inside scoop.
I don't blame. I'm sure. I don't blame them for doing what they did. Like, just call it a day. You have nothing else to prove as a musician.
You can't replace Steven
Aerosmith.
Tyler.
Nothing. No, absolutely not. And there's no reason. There's no reason to make him do something that he can't do anymore. I mean, he was a phenomenal singer. When I was blessed to see him a couple years ago, or when I was on radio, so 2015, when they started, they came back, did a comeback tour before, I think right after his American Idol stance.
Yeah.
And they was phenomenal. Like, that's
Oh,
a great memory of a great show of a fucking singer that owned it.
That's an American
like, it was
rock
so
band
flawless.
right there.
It kind of like, right. And
At
it was
its peak.
flawless. And it was kind of, right. And it was kind of like when I saw the Queensryche of Building Empire. Just, they were flawless. They were on their game. And Aerosmith was older in this in 2015, but they were. It was good. It was just fucking great. They left the show and the show's over. It's like, fuck, come back. It was that kind of vibe.
Yes.
So stop when you have to stop, man. Don't go out there and half-ass it. Like, there's people that argue. I don't agree with lip syncing at all. You're gonna fucking stand up on stage, play your music, sing your songs. But if you reach the point to where you can't sing those songs, you either stop singing those songs and start singing new shit you can hit, or you just call it a day.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'd rather have a good memory than have, like the last time I saw Mellencamp, he fucking sucked. I haven't seen him since.
And
Because he sounded like John Waite with the fucking, yeah.
I've talked a lot of people out of going to see him in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years for that same reason. Because I saw a concert of his on DirecTV, and unfortunately for him, if I were his advisor, I would have said,
yeah,
you're going to do what? You're going to release that to the world on DirecTV? You're fucking crazy. Because that's what kept me from ever going to see him again. And that was probably close to 10 years ago, dude. He was bad then.
Yeah, that's probably when we saw him last. Yeah, and it sounded terrible. It's like, dude, you have allowed smoking to destroy your only instrument that matters.
Yes.
He's a singer.
Yes.
Stop smoking, because that's what it's done. It's nothing else. It's, it's like, you just fucking, that's it. That's your instrument. You cannot tell me you love smoking so much that you're going to jeopardize what has made you who you are. And
well,
and it fucking sucks, because he was a good.
You remember that part in A Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica when Axl couldn't go out on stage and they're all backstage sitting there drinking, and Axl's not there, I don't think, but Duff says, he's having problems with his voice, and then they cut to Newstead, and he's like, having problems with his voice, maybe he shouldn't be drinking and smoking,
Right.
It was obvious to a bunch of degenerates other than him back then. You're the singer, dude.
That's the thing. You just,
you used to have an occasional puff on stage or whatever, but you didn't smoke a pack and a half of fucking cigarettes a day, and you weren't a pot smoker, and, you didn't smoke.
Nope.
For the most part. It was usually an act.
Because I sang.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just because I sang. I knew I was, number one, the whole asthma thing always kind of turned me off smoking anyway, but number two, because I was a singer, I wasn't going to smoke. I just didn't, I didn't feel like it was worth it, because the way, how I sung. I sang every show like it was the last show we were ever going to play. So I didn't walk off the stage completely. I walked off the stage soaking wet.
Yep.
But you would have thought I was working out. Because that's how you do it. That's how this is, that's just how you do it. Like, I don't know how to sing quiet. I just don't. Because
we're professionals.
Every fiber of my being, every fiber of my soul was in my songs when I was singing. That's just how it was. That's how it should be. I don't condemn Aerosmith for doing that. I give them kudos, man. Good job. Way to call it a day.
I always told all my students there's 3 levels of playing. There's sitting on the couch just strumming, and you should do that every day. You should always pick up your instrument and play it. Then there's actually playing with a band in a practice, right? That's a whole other level of playing.
Right.
And then you're going to get about 100 practices in a live performance, because that's a whole other level of playing, and you better be ready, right? I'm not trying to scare you, but you better be prepared. Because too many people have ended up in that position that I described many podcasts ago, where the guy had stage fright and nobody knew it. You got to know that shit, and you got to know that you're not going to be afraid when you get up in front of people. It's one thing to play and be a badass in your bedroom. It's another thing when even one person's sitting in front of you. That changes everything, You don't realize it till you're there.
Yep.
Well, now imagine there's 1,000 people in front of you, or 300 or 500 or whatever. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to be prepared.
It is, absolutely.
And as you know, even weird things like you play at one volume in practice, or you play at one volume in your bedroom, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Then you play at real volume in practice. You got to know how to control your instrument. You can't have it feeding back all over the place. You'll drive everybody nuts. And worse yet, when you get in a live performance, you'll look like a fucking idiot. Same thing with you.
Exactly.
You got to know about mic dynamics, right? You can't just scream right into the mic unless the sound man knows that's what you intend to do at that moment in time, because he's got to be prepared for it. Or you blow his fucking speakers up or his microphone or whatever, you know?
Right, which is why when I did my mic checks, I would sing. I did the Pearl Jam, the Wild Eyed Crazy Mary, because that was soft, low register.
Yep.
And then I would do one of our higher, heavy hitting songs because then he could get my high range.
Yeah.
So then it was you know, I had the dynamic that I needed.
I'll tell you a story that I thought of. We were at the Mason Jar one night. We were opening up for Sacred Reich. And this is the only time this has ever happened in my life. And I don't know what happened that night, but, you know, I set all my gear up, and, you know, my rig was huge, just like Jason's was. It's like Marshall stack and fucking rack gear and all this other shit nonsense. So I get everything dialed in the way we always did at every gig, and I hear through the monitors, you can turn up a little bit. I looked at Scott, and he looked at me. We had never heard those words ever. Because most of the time you guys were like, you know, could you, Scott used to call it blend. Could you blend a little bit? Which was, could you turn that fucking thing down a little bit? Yeah, Jason actually told me to turn up. I was so excited. I'm like, I don't know if I have much left, but I'll give you what I got.
That's awesome.
Another story I thought of that I made a note of
today.
Yeah, let me ask you this question real quick.
Okay, yeah, tell your story. Let's wrap up. Yeah, let's do our story.
Do you remember playing at the Hollywood Alley one night when the sound guy disappeared while we were on stage?
Yes.
Okay,
I remember the Hollywood Alley because it had the weirdest fucking furniture, man. It had those
and the
really
gay
high
owner
fucking booths and shit. Yeah, and it was just a weird place
Roth.
to play, man.
His name was Roth.
It wasn't band friendly at all.
No,
yeah,
that dude
Roth.
was fucking creepy, dude.
It wasn't band friendly at all.
I have nothing against anybody being gay. Anybody that knows me knows that. I am not I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this dude was a gay guy, matter of fact, and he was creepy as fuck.
Right.
And we're on stage playing one night.
Yeah.
And I look back there, and the sound man disappeared. So real quick backstory for the people that are listening at home that have no idea what we're talking about. Sometimes you have your own sound man that travels with you, and sometimes you're playing at clubs like locally around Phoenix, and they would have their own sound man. So you were at the behest of whoever was running the board at the night.
Correct.
So we look back there, and we're halfway through our set or three-quarters. I think we were like nearing the end, knowing we were supposed to stop, and that dude was nowhere to be found, so we just kept jamming.
Yeah.
Fucking dude just abandoned us.
That was weird. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird place to play, man. That was probably one of my least favorite places to play because it just wasn't band friendly. It wasn't. They wanted bands in there to draw, but you didn't. The way it was set up, you couldn't really draw anybody because you couldn't enjoy it because it was high back booths. So you're sitting down and you have 2 feet above your head is the booth, and it's kind of like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand the whole and it's a Chinese restaurant now.
And remember, the building was split in half.
Booths and shit, but
so the half that we played on was one half, and then there was like a 3/4 wall that the bar extended through, and then there was like pool tables and shit on the other side. It was a weird place.
Weird. Yeah, it was weird, and it was open at 6 a.m. because it catered to the people who worked the swing shifts, and just fucking weird, man. It's like it didn't know what it wanted to be, so it tried to be everything.
I just had that thought pop in my head.
Which is just weird. Just be a bar, man.
Did I make this up?
No, it's good. Squirrel moment. Squirrel. No, you didn't.
All right, brother.
So there you go. So that was good. So we learned some things. We
always learn some things.
That's good. Yeah, we always learn some stuff. So Jake's back in. I was gonna tell you this earlier. So Michael Bruce, the original founding guitar player for Alice Cooper, it was his birthday yesterday.
Okay.
So I did I know him because he was on Good News Arizona a few times. So I sent him my little birthday thing via text message because people that I know, I text them first and then I'll follow up on Facebook. But so replied back. Actually, it was his wife. I'm sorry, it was Lynette's birthday. His wife. So, but I only have one number goes to both of them. So I sent it to Michael and said, hey, make sure Lynette gets this. And she got it. She loved it. She thanked me for it. And so I put a bug in the air. I was like, hey, let me know when Michael has some time off. I'd love to get him on the Chris and Mike show, which is a new podcast I'm doing with my buddy.
That's awesome.
So she said, that's great. So I don't have anything in, lined up yet. So I'll keep poking at her casually and see what we can do. It'd be fun to see if we could tie it in with Tony on your end and Michael on my end, because they probably know each other.
I'm sure they do.
Or have a really good connection with the 6 degrees of separation shit.
Oh yeah.
That the music industry is a really small world if you think about it.
Well, Tony worked in Phoenix and Tempe at Guitar Center for a long time, so I'm sure Michael had a reason to go in there and talk to him about something at one time or another. He was basically the
sure
pro audio guy, if I remember right, at one store, and then at my store he was my assistant manager, so I worked there for a short time.
Right on.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Cool.
I would really, really enjoy that. I love talking to other guitar players.
He's a cool guy too. Just his stories, dude. His like legit. We'll have 2 mics set up, and I'll just sit here quietly in the corner, and just let him tell his stories, because he has fucking amazing stories. Obviously so, because Alice Cooper Group, original founding guitar player with Alice
In the heyday.
Yeah. In the heyday.
What made him Alice Cooper? He was
He's
there.
a good dude. We'll get him on.
That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right here.
It's such a... And so much so on there's an episode that we'll hang it up on Good News Arizona. We had him on, and he was talking about shit, and he ended up dropping the fact that the original members were getting back together, and he didn't have anybody's permission from the group to drop that news. So for the next 48 hours, I was getting destroyed. I had people calling me from England, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we made it to, the Good News Arizona episode made it to England. It made it worldwide.
That's crazy.
And so I'm calling them. I'm like, what the fuck is all this? And they're like, fuck them. Michael can do what he wants. I'm like, all right, I'm not taking shit down. And like, legit, people were fucking lighting me up because my number was associated with the show.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Michael said I was fine to leave it up, so I'm leaving it up. You can't fucking do that. I'm like, well, then talk to Michael. Sorry.
This show made it to 7 countries now.
And he let it all out. That is fucking fantastic.
7 countries, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll learn the language of all 7 countries. I'll learn how to say hello in all 7 countries. That's my promise to you, listeners.
We're going to hold him to it.
I'm Chris. He's Mike.
Don't let the bad days win, kids.
You're not in this world alone if you're struggling. You're not in this world alone if you're struggling. Reach out. Talk to somebody. You have friends. People love you. You're better off here than you are not.
Absolutely.
We're all going to die, but let nature take its course gradually.
Yes. Let's do it naturally.
Don't preemptively. Don't preempt that role of your life, because you're here for a reason.
Absolutely.
You will survive. Everybody survives the shit, so you will survive. Plenty more to talk about next time. Mike Michaels, I love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Peace.
Have a great day.
You too, my friend.